Hello, ladies, gents, and everyone. It is Thursday, September 23rd, and we're here to talk about this week's space and astronomy news. Last week, the first all-civilian orbital mission launched, and this past weekend, they successfully splashed down. Welcome home to the Inspiration4 crew. They did meet their $200 million fundraising goal for St. Jude's, in part due to a $50 million pledge from Elon Musk. Now, while the primary purpose of this mission was, as the name suggests, to inspire, as well as this fundraising event for St. Jude's, it was also basically a very expensive and very intensive tourism trip. SpaceX has several more tourism trips planned for the coming months and years. However, to my understanding, they're all headed to the International Space Station, so it's not clear when there might be another free-flying tourism mission like this one. However, it's clear that there is some demand there for that. But while the exact cost of the Inspiration4 mission was not revealed, it was probably hundreds of millions of dollars, so we're probably not talking your next family vacation just quite yet. Things are getting a little shake-up over at NASA. So NASA has 4 mission directorates that help it kind of focus on different areas related to its overall mission. These 4 are space technology, science, aeronautics research, and human exploration and operations. Well, at least I should say there was 4. Were 4? But now there are going to be 5. So NASA just announced this week that the Human Exploration and Operations Mission Directorate is going to be split into 2 new mission directorates: the Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate and the Space Operations Mission Development. So basically this is going to help them focus on different areas related to, for example, with the space operations, low Earth orbit, and the kind of ever-increasing activity related to satellites, and this also includes like the ISS, for example. Whereas the Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate is going to be more focused on deep space missions. This will include, for now, the Artemis missions, although eventually the moon is probably going to fall into the space operations category. But yeah, so kind of deep space exploration, Mars, moon for now, are going to be in this Exploration Systems Development Directorate. Speaking of Artemis, this week NASA announced the landing site for a future lunar rover as part of that mission. This rover is called the Volatiles Investigating Polar Exploration Rover, or VIPER. That's not the noise it makes. The site is going to be on the western edge of the Nobile crater on the moon's south pole. The rover will be searching for, among other things, water. And this is a great site for that because the South Pole is very cold and this crater has permanently shadowed regions which are good candidates for locations of water ice that can maintain itself on the surface. Also, the South Pole has never been explored before, so this is going to be very cool. VIPER's mission is kind of twofold. Not only is it going to be a scientific mission that's going to help us better understand the origin and evolution of the moon, but it's also kind of a practical mission that will help us learn about the resources that are present on the moon for future missions. VIPER is a part of the Artemis program, and it is expected to be launched in 2023 on board a Falcon Heavy. The FAA has completed a draft environmental review for SpaceX's proposed Starship Super Heavy launch program, and now the draft has been released for public review and comment. This comment period started last Friday and will be open until October 17th, with related public hearings on October 6th and 7th. This draft PEA investigates environmental impacts of SpaceX's proposed mission profiles, including things like road closures, construction, launching, re-entry, etc. And completing this environmental review is a key part of the process that will eventually lead to FAA issuing a launch license for the Starship Heavy to SpaceX. Now, we don't know when that will happen, but Musk has previously indicated that once the FAA license is received, the Starship could be ready for a test in as few as a few weeks after. The current draft PEA seems to indicate that the license will be recommended. There are other components that go into the final decision, with some mitigations. And if you have comments, this is your opportunity to provide them to the FAA about the environmental impacts of Starship Heavy. This last bit is something I'm super excited about. While our lovely solar system has only 1 star, it is actually quite common for stellar systems to have 2 or more stars. Now, these multiple stellar systems can also contain planets, although it's much more difficult for us to detect them, so we don't have a great idea of how frequently this happens. Now, sometimes these planets would just be in orbit around one of the stars, and the other star would be kind of external to that. But sometimes you kind of get this configuration where the planet is orbiting around both stars in a binary. This would be the so-called Tatooine type planet, where if you were on the surface of the planet, you would see two suns in the sky. This is really cool, but like I said, difficult to detect, so we only know of about 20 systems where there are circumbinary planets. But you could have an even crazier configuration where the planet is orbiting not 2 stars, but 3 stars, and this would be called a circumtriple planet. Now, while this type of planetary orbit is theoretically possible, we have never detected a circumtriple planet. Until now. Enter GW Orion. So GW Orion is a triple star system with a protoplanetary disk that is circumtriple. So that is, the protoplanetary disk encircles all 3 stars at the center. Now, previous observations of this disk had revealed gaps in the gas. Now, these types of gaps being created in a protoplanetary disk could be from massive young planets that are forming in the disk, or they could be from basically the gravitational influence of the 3 stars at the center and the way they are interacting with the disk. But now a new study has investigated whether or not the stars at the center of this disk could create these gaps just from their own gravitational effects, and they found that in fact it couldn't, which means that the most likely explanation for these gaps being open is the presence of a planet or planets within this protoplanetary disk, which, if that's the case, these would be the first circumtriple planet or planets. Now, this is not a definitive detection, but it is a very tantalizing piece of evidence that there could be circumtriple planets in this system, and I think that's just super cool. So hopefully we can get some more data on GW Orion and see if there is in fact a circumtriple planet or planets in this system. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I will see you again in 2 weeks. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye!